He was born into royalty, raised behind palace walls, and destined for a life of privilege. But Prince Harry walked away from it all, and now he's fighting battles no one expected. From explosive interviews to courtroom showdowns and raw revelations about his past, Harry's story isn't just about royalty. It's about trauma, betrayal, and a desperate fight for protection. But the deeper he speaks, the more the world wonders. Is he exposing the truth, or tearing down the very family he says he still loves?
Hey, welcome to the channel. Have you subscribed yet? Hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Do it, I say.
For Harry, the past isn't just painful, it's paralyzing. He was only 12 when Princess Diana died in a horrific car crash after being chased by paparazzi through the streets of Paris. That moment didn't just change his life. It shattered it. Years later, Harry would admit he was plagued by nightmares and panic attacks. He didn't cry. He couldn't cry. He buried the pain so deep it nearly broke him. And then came Meghan. When they married and had children, Harry's protective instincts exploded. He saw echoes of Diana's treatment in the way the media targeted Meghan. The racism, the tabloid cruelty, the relentless scrutiny. For Harry, it wasn't just history repeating, it was a warning. He wasn't going to lose another woman he loved to the media machine. So he did the unthinkable. He walked away from the only life he'd ever known. But escaping the crown didn't mean escaping its consequences. After Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020, their taxpayer-funded security in the UK was stripped away. Suddenly, the couple and their young children were vulnerable. But Harry wasn't asking for charity. He offered to pay for protection himself, but was told no. The official reason was protocol. He was no longer a working royal, and therefore not entitled to it. But behind the scenes, many believe the message was clear. Actions have consequences. You don't get to leave the institution and still enjoy its protections. Harry felt cornered, angry, betrayed. And when quiet conversations failed, he took the fight to court. Harry filed a lawsuit against the UK Home Office, arguing that his family faced serious threats and deserved protective security, especially when visiting the UK. But in February 2024, he lost. The ruling said Harry's fears were not enough to override the government's policy. The media pounced, calling it a humiliating blow. Royal insiders whispered it was karma, the price of turning his back on the crown. But for Harry, it felt personal. In his words, it wasn't about status. It was about safety. The safety of his wife, his children, himself. Still, he was forced to accept the court's decision, and the message behind it. He wasn't one of them anymore. Despite everything, Harry still insists he wants a relationship with his father. In interviews, he calls Charles Papa. He says he's open to reconciliation. But actions speak louder than words. Since the release of his memoir, Spare, in which he accused Charles of emotional neglect and Queen Camilla of planting stories in the press, their communication has reportedly broken down. Some sources claim Charles is devastated. Others say he's furious. On the surface, the royal family stays silent. But behind closed doors, there's pain. And when Harry showed up uninvited to Charles's coronation for just 24 hours, without Meghan, the divide couldn't have been more obvious. The question is no longer, can they fix it? It's, do they even want to? Meghan hasn't spoken much publicly lately, but her presence is felt in every word Harry says. To some, she's the villain, the American actress who lured a prince away and turned him against his family. To others, she's the hero, the woman who helped Harry confront a lifetime of trauma and walk away from a toxic system. In any case, she's central to the story. When Harry talks about protecting his family, he means Meghan. When he talks about the media's cruelty, he means the racism she faced. When he talks about his battles with the palace, it's clear he's fighting not just for himself, but for her. And yet, her silence is deafening. Is she staying out of the headlines? Or preparing for her next move? There was a time when the public sympathized with Harry. The boy who lost his mother. The man who walked away for love. But something's changed. In the UK, many now see him as bitter and spoiled. A prince who traded royal life for Hollywood fame, then complained when things got messy. Even in the US, where he and Meghan found support, the tide is shifting. Their Netflix series, tell-all interviews, and constant media presence have worn thin. Critics say they want privacy but won't stop talking. Supporters argue that speaking out is their only defense, but the more they talk, the harder it is to tell what they really want. Officially, Buckingham Palace never comments on family drama. But that doesn't mean they stay quiet. Sources close to the family. Carefully worded press statements. The firm knows how to control a narrative. And Harry knows it. In his memoir and interviews, he claims the institution works with the press, sometimes feeding them stories to protect senior royals or throw others under the bus. He believes he's been targeted, silenced, and sacrificed for the crown's reputation. And now, he's fighting back in the only way he knows how, by telling his side. Again and again. But every word deepens the divide, and draws the lines of war even clearer. Harry says he wants peace, reconnection, healing. But he also wants justice, accountability, and safety. He wants the media to leave him alone, but also listens to every headline. He wants the palace to welcome him back, while accusing them of betrayal. Some say he's trapped in the trauma of his past. Others believe he's too angry to see the damage he's causing. But maybe, deep down, Harry doesn't know what he wants. Because the pain of losing his mother, of feeling unloved, of being the spare, it never really left. And maybe, until he heals that wound, nothing else will feel right.